Hello and welcome back to another tech demo. And this one, we are going to be looking at a function, this time with return value. So a little bit different than our last one, but we did kind of add that in there. So we want to kind of separate this out and keep this distinct. So this is our function with return value. In this case, I've created a game object called number checker. Again, briefly, you can create those by hitting this, right click, create the game object, give it its name. And then likewise, we're going to create a script for that. You can, again, hit add component. In this case, I've already created one called number checker, but you could do that by hitting add component, typing in script, and add in a new script and name it number checker or whatever you want to have your function be. Or you can, of course, build and add one inside your scripts function or inside your scripts folder by right clicking, create, and go to the mono behavior script or the C# script, depending on your version of Unity. So once you've got that added, if you've created it over here, you drag it on, and let's jump in and take a look at our script. All right, so we open this up, you can see Visual Studio load, and here is our script. And again, this is heavily commented for my beginners that are in this beginner tech demo. So again, once, of course, we have the Unity engine, as you have seen in earlier demos, this allows us to use Unity's built-in functions and classes. And what we are building today is this custom class called number checker. And you can see it right here. And again, please keep in mind for you beginners that that does need to match to the name of your script file that you have over there. So make sure that you guys, if you change one, you need to change them both. All right, so clearing those out and taking a look at the meat and potatoes of this, we have a variable that we need to declare right here. And this is just a public variable, and we're going to use this to check. And this is just simple, but we're going to see whether or not a number is positive or negative in this, just to kind of build a basic function to test this. So in this case, we have an integer variable called test number, and our function is down here, our custom function, and it includes those brackets there, and it's just is positive. And what we're doing with this particular function is we are passing it a parameter right here in the is positive there, and we are returning a value. So the return is the bool. So this is a positive or negative. This is the yes or no, true or false type of return. So how does our code here work? Well, what we have going on is every time the frame updates, which is called once per frame, about 60 times per second, it's going to call the is positive. So it's going to look right here and say, all right, is positive function. So whatever this function's result is, we're going to feed it the test number right here. So we take that test number from there and we feed it right into it, and it's going to jump down into our function. So let me clear those drawings because it's getting a little busy there. So we take this right here, grab this right here, and it's going to jump us right down into our function here. And then it's going to return that number back up, and it's going to assign that to the result. So once that's done, that return is going to come up and go back into the bottom of that. And then what we're going to do is say, put it right here would have been more appropriate, would say, all right, add to this printout in the debug log, is the test number positive or negative? And again, that test number is a variable in there too, which came from right here. The test number right there goes there, and the result is coming from the return from this. All right, so clear those out and let's go test it out. Save it out. We jump over to our Unity file, and again, we're jumping to the console to watch our feedback on this, and we hit play. And when this is done, I'm going to click on this so you can see that sure enough, it says is 7 positive, and it says true, and I can test other numbers here because I put that in update. So if I go over to my inspector on the right-hand side to make sure that this code actually does something useful, I can click on here and I can type in a number like -45, and you'll see it say, is -45 positive? Nope, it is not. As we know, it is false. And I can also click in here, and another little tip for beginners here. Notice that if you take your mouse cursor in between on these, you can actually click and drag. So you can get a pretty good read on as you slide the numbers positive. So I'm up to 653. That's obviously positive. I drag this back down to -2009. That is negative. And obviously that is a false for the positive because negative is not positive. All right, a very simple tech demo, but that's how a function with a return parameter works. Check us out for the next text demo. You have a good one.